new rail strategy in March this year, and that document reaffirmed our commitment to rail franchises, to private sector longer franchises, 15-year franchises for train operations. And I think that is a statement of our commitment to a privatised rail. The independent study, the McNulty study, did look at the question of whether we should go down a nationalised route or whether we should keep with a privatised railway. And it made arguments for and against, and it came down in conclusion that privatised is better. What is interesting for us is that one of the arguments to keep a privatised railway was that we have a privatised railway now, so the cost of change is going to be significant. When we privatised, we made one big mistake. We may have made more mistakes than one, but there was one very big one, and that was that rail was too fragmented. We had the infrastructure. We had a company, Railtrack, initially in the private sector, and now Network Rail, which is not for dividend company with no shareholders. That was managing the infrastructure. We had private train operators managing the managing train operations, and the two did not work together well. This creates massive inefficiency. What this is about, it's not simply saying that we need better partnership working, because partnership working, everyone can say that, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. We think we need to have the right financial incentives in place. So what we are doing, we are exposing train operators to the infrastructure costs. So our infrastructure operator, Network Rail, has an efficiency target every 5 years. Now, if Network Rail outperforms its efficiency target, it does well, it spends less money than it needs to, then we think the train operators should get some benefit work, so that government is playing a strategic, not an operational role. So what that means is government has an interest in strategic services, but local or regional services should be a matter for local authorities. So we're consulting on that at the moment. We have longer franchises, so greater flexibility for train operators to tailor the service to what the customer wants, to what the passenger wants. We're talking about involving the independent regulator more in monitoring and enforcing franchises. So if, for instance, a train operator has very poor customer satisfaction or performance, then it's the regulator, not the Department for Transport. We've also established a rail delivery group, which is a high-level industry group, which brings together freight operators, passenger operators, and Network Rail, the infrastructure side. And it's the chief executives we're talking about. It's right at the high level. And that group is focusing on getting the cost of the railway down. And you might say, why should it care what the cost of the railway is? Because ultimately it's government who pays. But the principle we've established here is one of, well, government will take some of the benefits from a lower cost railway, passengers will take some of the benefits, but there must be some profit incentive for the industry, and we accept that. That's okay. So